Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Match Reaction, live Match Reaction here on the Rangers Rabble. Alashkert 0, Rangers 0. Rangers win 1-0 in aggregate, and we are through to the group stages of the Europa League. However, that doesn't really tell the whole story. Hello, I'm Martin. I'm joined by Jamie, Kerr, and Wolf. Guys, welcome along. If you're watching, everyone's watching on YouTube. So if you like the content, blah blah blah, please do subscribe and like. Although after that performance, it's probably not the best time to ask. Jamie, that was poor.
I'm trying. I can't put a positive spin on that. Pathetic, man. Like, it's done. We've qualified. Let's think it was decent. Patterson play okay. Big Robbie looked pretty safe for a couple of shots. Other than that, so disappointed. Morelos, a joke. And I know they're playing the 30-degree heat, whatever, but 10 men, one of the worst teams I've seen us play in a long time. So abject, so passive, nothing. Our passing was shocking. I'm struggling. Go to Wilf. He seems in a worse mood than me, so I'll let him do it.
Well, Wilf, if your stream is holding up, as is the Rangers Rabble way, put a positive spin on that for us.
He's froze.
And he's froze. There you
go.
Right,
Put
a positive spin on that for us, Kerr.
We're through. End of story. That was a job we had to do. We're through. It wasn't great, but if Alfie takes his chances, it could be 3-0. Aribo hits a woodwork twice. It could be more than that. We created a few chances. McCrory done okay in goals. Patterson done okay at full-back position. I thought Aribo was okay, and I thought Helander was okay. Wasn't a great game of football. It was very slow at times. Barisic still doesn't look anywhere near match fit. But end of the day, we went there to get through, make it through. So I'm going to look more positive. I'm going to look negative because I'm fed up with the negativity coming for everybody. So I'm going to look on the other side of it for a change because at the end of the day, we went there to get into the the group stages. We done that.
Right, I'm going to try this one more time with Wilf. I'm not holding out much hope for it, but Wilf, your thoughts on the game?
No,
there.
You hear me?
And I wasn't holding out much hope, and we didn't get it. Sorry, Wolf, mate, if you're watching back. We've got a comment in for Ronnie McLeod. Hey, you guys want to try playing in 30 degrees? Jamie, look, I understand the heat's a factor, of course it is, but it's no excuse. And we'll come to the first half where, like Kerr says, we could have been 2, 3, 4 goals up. I'm more disappointed, I suppose, in the second half playing against 10 men. You can't blame 30-degree heat for that, can you?
Nah, you're playing in 30-degree heat. I get it. They're all professional football. They're all athletes, so they should have the lung capacity or whatever to get through games like that. I'm sure Morelos has lived in 30-degree heat most of his life. I know he's travelled a wee bit recently, so I'm not really buying that. Well, we should have been able just to see if it was a keep ball exercise and look a bit good doing it. That's what we should have done in the second half, but we didn't. We couldn't string 2 passes together. And actually, at the end of it, we were almost holding on. So I don't know what's going on. Touch on Barisic looks pretty poor again, man. So I know he's been injured and stuff like that, but we did create some chances, and Morelos could have had a hat trick, man. Like, so my thoughts now move to Sunday, and playing like that, we are going to get nothing out of anything.
We'll come to that. Well, was the second half performance worse than my hair?
It was worse than my stream, which is saying something tonight. It was the whole game was abject. I mean, as Kerr says, the object of the exercise was getting into group stages, and we've done that, and that's great. I might actually get some trips this season, but I mean, that performance, they are the worst team I have ever seen Rangers play. They are fucking dreadful. Annan would probably give them a game. Berwick Rangers teams, they would give them a game.
Annan beat us, mate.
Really not very good. So,
Annan beat us, remember?
I know. But I mean, you know what I mean? That's just, they're dreadful. I can only think that they were told to go out there and do as little as they had to, because they're all on shift again on Sunday, depending on, because we don't know who's available for what's been left behind. You know what I mean? There's not exerting yourself and not exerting yourself. When I've seen testimonials played quicker than that.
Mhm.
There was no, even when they came into the game a little bit second half, we still didn't kind of put the foot down and try. It was all pedestrian stuff. It was, I mean, I can move quicker than them. I'm in my mid-50s. I mean, it's fucking just, it was a disgrace. It was a disgraceful performance, but the object of the exercise was achieved, so I'm not going to slaughter them for it. I mean, the record books will show that we got through, and that's all we can do. That's all we can say.
Aye, then that is a positive care. And I suppose if look, the reaction's always going to come for the second half performance because it was so poor. But like you've mentioned, that first half we created 2, 3, maybe 4 chances, and on another day Alfie gets a hat trick.
Yeah, it does. It's on social media, I've seen comments, people slating Alfie, but listen, he's been at Rangers now for like 4 or 5 seasons. We all know he's a guy that misses chances where he has to think about it, where he takes his, where he gets it and when he gets a chance in the half turn, he just hits it. He's like that, Alfie. He scores the goals. He goes through spells of scoring. He doesn't go through spells of scoring, but he's no pish. I mean, I've seen
No.
people saying he's passion, sell him. Listen, it was a bad performance. I'll take the performance because we get through. See, if we'd been sitting here not getting through, I'd have been angry like you three, but we got through and that was the object. The rest of the games will take care of himself. I mean, I agree some of the players don't like that. I agree and a couple other things about the team, but at the end of the day, we went there after this COVID thing, after not having a full squad of players, we got through and that was the main object. We'll take that because the manager's not there. Good a lot of players on there. So we done really well because didn't have a lot on the bench to change it either. So I actually thought the point was to get through, we got through. So I'll take that. If it turns out it's different on Sunday, then we talk about it then. But I'm not going to sit here and fear anybody the next game because I think we're still going to come good.
Can I just say, probably comment of the reaction already goes to Curry Muncher. Man of the pod must go to Wilf. It's hard to stay awake at his age and make it on here after watching that performance. So, Wilf, that's the big question. How did you manage to stay awake?
Anger.
Lots and lots of coffee. Lots and lots of coffee.
I know. Look, I was really frustrated at the end of that game, and I was going to come on here and start shouting the odds and say this isn't good enough, that's not good enough. But I've had a few minutes, Jamie, just to calm down. Look, we are through. We're going to the group stages. I'm feeding off of care here. Morelos on another day, like I say, could have had a hat trick. It wasn't his day in front of goal, but for people in the comments to be putting down, oh, he's pish, we need to move him on, that is just a type of knee-jerk reaction that you don't need. And we haven't made the greatest start to the season, but Alfie's still far and away our best striker, and he's still a phenomenal player. He had a poor game. It happens.
I totally agree with you, and he is. And he's a game changer when he wants to be, and he'll drag, hopefully on Sunday, he's dragging people all over, I choked my words there, all over the place. But old school, and I firmly believe if someone's played shite, then we should be allowed to say they've played shite. And most of us played shite there. Now, that doesn't mean that they're passionate, they should never play for the club again, but then I think people need to be aware that that's not good enough. But yeah, we're through. Cares make me feel a wee bit more positive. We are through, and that's that's the aim of tonight. However, when is it? I said this, man. I've only been on match reactions when we've been poor, and that's been this season. So, and I'm on probably on Sunday and all. So what is going on? Like, we need to get.
No, you're laughing Sunday.
Something needs to change, and maybe it's me. A few of my mates have been like, "You need to get off of this. What are you doing? This is causing us problems. It's not my fault." But I don't know what's going on. We need something to trigger us, and maybe it's me getting off this fucking pod.
Well, I'll do it myself on Sunday. It's all right, don't worry about it. Kerr, obviously, look, we were hit with this COVID scare, which we'll come on to a bit, because after we do the reaction, we're going to focus a wee bit on Sunday. We were hit with that, but it was a pretty strong starting lineup. Robbie McCrory making his debut in goals, didn't really put a foot wrong, didn't really have much to do. And I think it was Jamie that mentioned that in the second half we could have looked to have freshened things up a little. We didn't have a lot on the bench, but who we did have was Stephen Kelly. And I'm absolutely amazed. And Kerr, can you explain to me why he didn't get on the pitch, and why the coaches and Gerrard or whatever, maybe I'm wrong, but don't seem to have the confidence in him?
I've not got a clue, Martin. To be honest with you, I'm like yourself. He's on the pitch, you play the boy, because I've been crying out for an midfielder for ages. I still feel we're short in there, especially Stephen Davis is playing far too much football for me. He's playing far too much. He's going to hit a brick wall at some point just because of his age and stuff. So we need somebody with fresh legs in there. We need somebody just be legs basically. And Stephen Kelly will do that. I mean, he can stick his foot and he's aggressive, but he can pass the ball 30, 40 yards at ease. And that's what you're needing in games last night. Then maybe you're controlling it more, but we didn't have that tonight. And you've got him sitting on the bench and you're thinking, he had a chance. He's not going to let you down because we've seen him do it before with Ross County, with United. He's even come in with Rangers and done well. So why not give him a chance tonight? What was the issue? Because that team are rotten, to be honest with you. So if he's going to get a chance, play him tonight, and or even bring him on just to settle the team down. Because I thought Arfield's legs were starting to go. Davis was the same. Kamara was as usual. He's just getting dragged, but too similar. So we need somebody a bit different. And I'm yourself, Martin. I think Stephen Kelly should be getting some game time.
I was amazed that he didn't even get 10, 15 minutes at the end, because you could see towards the end of that game that Davis was starting to struggle a wee bit.
I was stunned when he took Hadji off it, that he put it on, because it's not like we weren't making chances. We were making chances, we just weren't taking them. So Stephen Kelly on for that. I mean, taking Hadji off was the right thing, because Hadji was terrible. He just didn't have a good game at all. So I agreed with him getting off. I was surprised he brought Eton on. I thought he would have brought Kelly on then, because we were making chances. We were breaking the line. We just weren't scoring them. And we had complete control of the midfield. And then we took Hadji off, and the midfield kind of lost control a little bit, because they upped their game a bit, and we had obviously gone kind of too straight up top. And it amazed me that Stephen Kelly didn't come on, because you've got to trust the guy. Because there wasn't a lot else on that bench. There was untried kids that were there to make up the numbers, who would probably have done your shift. And everybody's talked before the game, let's get 2 or 3 up and give the boys some experience. We didn't even look like try to get 2 or 3 up. As we've said before, that team are rotten. And you can't trust guys like, you can't trust Stephen Kelly against a team like that. When are you actually going to play him?
When are you actually going to play him, Jamie?
Well, unfortunately for us, I don't think it's going to happen, and we kind of cried out for it all pre-season and all season really. And I think there's always a nervousness not to play him, because I don't know, is everyone feeling the magnitude of trying to retain this title, and our performances haven't started so good again. But they'll know better than us, so that's it. But he come across, and when I've ever seen him, as a really assured, confident young guy. And a wee guy like that might just be the person who comes on, shoulders back, swaggers about a wee bit, that gives everything. Well, look at this wee guy, and he must be doing it in training. So just to give him that opportunity in a game, it could lift everybody. But he's not getting that opportunity. And someone said it there, like, what's happening with I seen Jimmy Duff there. I was like, what? I just it threw me.
Well, that comment, in fact, I'll take that, right? And I'll take this to you, Kerr. After going out the Champions League, the aim was to get to the Europa League. We are there, so job done, move on. Is it job done, move on, Kerr? Or is it up to us, and I don't mean us as a podcast, I mean us as fans, to turn around and go, look, we haven't had a great start here. That was I don't care about the heat, right? All right, it was warm, so maybe 2 or 3-0 would have been acceptable. But is it not up to us as supporters to turn around and go, we haven't played that great this season. There's not been a single game where I've watched us and went, oh no, we look a bit like last season. We've not started well. We'll come on to them because they've started well. I don't care what anybody says, they've started well. Is it not up to us to turn around and go, well, hold on a minute, when is this going to change?
They have started well, Martin, but you have to look at it in a perspective. They're the same points as us. So there's not a lot of difference in the league. They maybe scored a few more goals. But if it was halfway through the season or quarter way through the season, I'd be more worried. But it's still the start of the season. So the players are we don't become bad players overnight. So there's an issue maybe with confidence, like Jamie put on, maybe the pressure trying to retain a title. Or just because what's happened with the Euros and not getting the same pre-season as before. We've just struggled to get back into the way we were last season. I'm not sure. Or you'd have to ask the management team that. But I do feel we're still short. I do feel Stephen Kelly needs a chance to play. But I like the boy said, I do feel this is job done. We move on for this game. There's no point in talking about it. We beat them, we're through at the group stages, so let's move on to the next game. But come Sunday, if we get beat or we don't play well, then there could be an issue there, but I don't feel that'll happen.
Well, we can't just move on and not talk about it because it's a match reaction.
You know what I mean? I don't want to criticise your team too much. See if it was a 1-0 to them tonight and we get put out in penalties at extra time, we'd been here raging, but we were poor, but we got through. If we were poor against Malmo and get through, winning Mund, it's the way the result goes at the end of the day, and we got the result, even though we weren't that great.
I don't necessarily agree with you, because the performances have been so below par from last season that you have to ask yourself, is it just confidence, or is there something else going on at the club, Wolf? And that was a struggle for me to get that all out in the one go there. A struggle.
Wolf's froze.
Wolf has froze, right, Wolf? Thank you. All the way in Aberdeen, as per usual. Jamie, I'll take that to you then, and I can't even remember the question I asked because I was a wee bit angry.
Aye. I just think if we all sit and I'm not saying you're doing this, Kerr, right? Maybe I'm sugarcoating it, folks, and I think we need to just own up to the fact that we haven't played well. And the good thing is, Scottish football is shite anyway, so Dundee United beat us. That'll probably not happen again this season. Other teams, Livy and Ross County and stuff like that, fair enough, but we haven't played well, and other teams have, and it's massive now, massive, because this, if you think about last season, everybody was winning games and playing until that first Old Firm game, and that was a dagger in the heart for some of them, and I don't want that to be anywhere near us on Sunday, but I'm very, very worried.
Listen,
I mentioned at the start of the season, Martin, if you remember. I said, I think Scotty was on, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I said that maybe we thought this Rangers team were better than we thought. And I still agree with that. That's why I'm not looking too much into it, because I don't think we're as good as we performed last season. We won the league at a canter, but it made us look better than what we were. That's how I keep saying I still think we're short.
Right, well, listen, we'll come back to that, because I think you'll probably annoy a few people with that statement, but we'll come back to that. But back to the game, Kerr. Towards the end of the first half, Santos for Alashkert, through and goal, ball runs away from him, kicks McCrory in the head, second yellow, sent off. 100% a second yellow, but should that not have been a straight red?
Aye, straight red. It should be just shot off the park. That was a shocking challenge. That was a killer's challenge. Robin McCrory had the ball in his hands before the guy even got to him, and he just stuck his foot out, and you see him actually kick him in the head. I mean, that's shocking. That's not even a yellow, it's a red, and he should actually be banned for a few games, because I can endanger somebody's, I'm not saying their life, but they came out for it. Look at what happened to Peter Cech a few years ago. Do you know what I mean? So, no, that's shocking, man, because the guy didn't even go up and say to him, "You okay?" He just walked away like I just went in for a challenge. Well, shocking.
I was baffled, Wolf, that it was only a yellow, albeit a second yellow, but like I say, to Kerr, that's surely a straight red, no matter what level of the game you're playing.
Well, that's a straight red every day of the week, and when you consider that referee's the same guy that sent Ellis and Flanagan off against Ufa for really not a lot. You know what I mean? When you consider what they actually got all their yellow cards in that for, and that's the sort of ref I would have expected to pull a red straight out of his pocket for that, because that was a horrendous challenge. That was a coward's challenge. He'd no reason to do that. He could quite easily go by. I mean, he was actually nowhere near McCrory, and he made a point that put his foot out to catch him. It was a shocking challenge. And the guy really should be quite a lengthy ban for that.
Aye, he quite possibly should. But he gets sent off anyway, and we went into the second half, Jamie, against 10 men. And maybe Rangers is probably the only club in football where somebody for the opposition team gets sent off, and you're sitting there thinking, I don't know if I'm more confident when one of your players gets sent off.
I know, but I just thought when that happened, that naturally you give the old, that's us sorted, it's fine, we're fine. But almost the second half, we should just have kept passing the ball, but we didn't do it at all. So all we had to do was just keep the ball. We didn't, and then I know I keep using this word nerves, but we then sat back. But the game plan was not to press anyway. I take it that's to do with the heat, and because we've got a big game on Sunday and we're depleted. So the game plan wasn't to press them, and just they didn't have the quality to break us down anyway. So let's be honest, it was, if we were as shite as we were, it was always going to be 0-0. Like they never had a chance. What was there, a cross ball at one point?
No, you're wrong, Jamie. They had a few chances.
What was the chances? Robbie McCrory didn't have a save other than that long range thing that he stopped really, really well. Other than that, Big Hollander showed he maybe does have a wee bit of pace. I'm trying to go positive here, so don't bring me back down.
Well, we're saying, Kerr, how poor the second half was. Right at the start of the second half, lovely wee 1-2 with Patterson and Aribo. Is Patterson fouled in the box? Is that a penalty for you?
I don't think so. It could have been, but it's just one of the ones. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. You move on. But I just agree with Jamie. I just think we've done enough to get through, and we're down to 10 men, Martin. And it's like, I don't know if the players panic. When we're down to 10 men, it's like they're scared to make a mistake and they get hit in the break. I don't know if they panic, but that's a couple of times we're down to 10 men and we've kind of took our foot off the gas. I don't know if it's overconfidence or panic sets in, but like I said, I agree with Jim. I think it was always going to be a draw or a thing in the game because we were there to get through and that's what we've done.
You keep coming back to that, you know.
No,
I know you're
that's
trying to be positive here. I know, I get it. But look, Jamie, you're saying that they didn't have any chances. Maybe they didn't have anybody on the end to finish them. But I mean, they had just after I mentioned about that penalty, they had a fantastic cross into the box. And all the boys got to do is get it on target, and he scores. You know,
he didn't. So a ball in the box.
The chance was there, though. That's my point. We're giving teams like that chances.
I think when you play a game of football, you should always, I know, but we should always expect for a guy and the opposition to put a ball in the box at once. This is European football as well, so I know they were absolutely pissing. We're saying Annan were better, but it's still European football. So, but I don't know.
But I don't know. Right.
Like Kerr said, move on.
Well, is the defence a worry for you at all, Wolf?
Yes, I mean, I think before I dropped out there, I think you were talking about that ball they put across the box, and the boys should have scored. And okay, I know McCrory didn't have to save it, but against a real team with a proper. See, Kev was about to go right into a good thingy there, and he just cut off again. There you go.
Wolf, you mean Wolf, no care.
Wolf, no care. Sorry, Steve. I mean, I'm having a howler because Rangers are having a howler.
But talk about the defence. I mean, I still thought Highlander and Goldson looked okay. I know we still don't look the same, but I did think they looked okay. It was Barisic for me again, and I'll go back to it. And I wrote a blog about this guy saying if he plays it the same as he did last season, he could be like Davy Robertson, which is absolute. I don't know what I was drinking that night, but. At the end of the game again, and he was blown out his arse, and he's not been fit, and he was injured, and he was at the Euros. But at the end of that game, I just seen him slouched down in that park, sitting on his arse with his head down. Do you know what? Don't show that. You might be feeling, stay on your feet and going whatever you need to do, but see that line just shows weakness in my eyes.
Weakness, maybe, Kerr, but I mean, and I want to try and stick up for Borna a wee bit, although it's extremely difficult. Towards the end of the game, he seemed to be getting into it a bit more. He seemed to be putting 2 or 3 good crosses into the box, but he doesn't look fit, does he?
No, we aren't near much fit, no. Bassey's fit just now and playing, and he's not isolating stuff. You play Bassey before him now until he gets back anywhere near his match fitness. He doesn't look. I don't know. He looks very similar to what he was like before he scored the goal against St Mirren, the free kick against St Mirren a year ago. He looks very devoid of confidence as well, Borna, but last season he's playing with a lot of confidence, so I don't know if it's just his makeup the way he is as a guy in general, or he's just, I mean, I know he's at Euros, but he doesn't really play apart for that cameo appearance against Scotland to come on, so I think he needs a couple of weeks away training to get a fitness back up and then get him involved at some level of football, but I don't think you can stick him at left back now. You put Bassey in front of him.
Well, we're going to have a wee 5-10 minute conversation on Celtic, Jamie, but I mean, if Bassey isn't available, does Borna play? He has to
play, Martin. I think he's got to play because really we've not got any other option. And we know there's something there, so if he's unfit or whatever, but will tonight help getting a full 90 minutes in him? It might help, but he might actually be detrimental come Sunday, but he's got to play. We don't have anybody else, do we? I think we've loaned out one of our other prospect left backs, but Rangers don't seem to be really kind of going with bringing a young person in, do we? Other than our hands are forced, like Robbie tonight, who's 23, so he's not even young. So Barisic definitely has to play on Sunday. The problem I've got with this COVID thing, and these guys won't be double vaccinated, so we need to get out of our head. The only one that will be double vaccinated is McGregor. So that's what I've heard.
Well, what you hear and what's actually the truth, I think, are two different things, because I don't think Rangers are going to release anything at all, and I think Rangers have been clever. And, you know, you can have people like Graham Spears and what's the other one, Jackson, who can come out and complain about fan media all they want. But I'm with Rangers on this. You don't release a single thing until the very last second. that you absolutely have to. Kerr, Nathan Patterson on the right-hand side again looked comfortable. Didn't have the greatest game, but nobody did. But there would be no fear for him going into the game on Sunday.
Wouldn't be no fear with Nathan playing. Like, he still looks a bit raw to me. He still looks he makes positional sense or errors, but I suppose Tav's the same. But Tavernier is a better player still, my opinion. But if Tav's not available for Sunday, I put Nathan in. I'd be confident Nathan doing a job because he's a confident lad and we know he'll go in there and he'll give 100%. So I'm no problem with Nathan playing.
Right, so this game tonight, Jamie, who in the Rangers team for you get pass marks?
I'm definitely giving McCrory pass marks. I know he didn't do much, but that he was the one I was so nervous about him. But when I seen that shot and he just blocked it solidly, I said that in the chat. A nervous young keeper or nervous would have maybe fumbled that. He looked solid, so I'm happy with that. He's going to be playing on Sunday if somebody's no double jabbed or somebody's getting double jabbed after tonight. But I might not be playing on Sunday if McGregor's not got COVID, because he'll be double jabbed, seeing as he's older than us. So, but Patterson as well. We've been crying out for Patterson to play, and he got his chance. He didn't let MD down. So, pass marks for me. And I thought Aribo played okay again, but the culture with these kind of boys, it's this tippy-tappy edge of the box. I know he scored a cracker at the weekend, right? But there's a lot of flicking and toing and throwing sometimes. So I'd like to see a few of them be a wee bit more direct. But Patterson, McCrory, Aribo maybe.
Kerr, yourself, pass marks?
Probably the same as Jamie. Plus, I thought Helander done okay as well at the back. I still think a long ball, now and again, Connor kind of misjudges it and lets the guy by him. But I thought my Helander, Aribo, Patterson and Robbie, that was my four.
I think Helander tonight showed why he is our best defender. Honestly, in this lack of pace argument, he seemed to be all right tonight for pace. Sophie Hughes is asking, what did you guys think of Glenn Kamara? He was brilliant tonight. Sophie, I wouldn't have said anybody tonight was brilliant, but Jamie, Kamara played okay.
Yeah, tonight he gave us a 6. Sometimes on that ball, there's a few wee passes of play, kept the ball well, a couple of wee turns and stuff like that. So you can totally trust him in a game. Yeah. Wasn't he brilliant at all by his standards? It wasn't brilliant, but you all know he's my favourite player. So he's still the main man in there. He's back and he'll be there on Sunday again. So we feel confident with him playing, definitely.
Okay.
I'm the same. I thought Glenn done okay. I've seen him play a lot better, but he's consistent. He'll give you a 6, 7, 8 out of 10 every week. So when he's there, he does a lot of things that you might not notice as much on the TV, but he's work off the ball and stuff like that. But he's in it, and you have him in. But if he's fit, he plays.
And we've got William Martin, Helander Davis, and in parts Aribo are the only ones getting pass marks for me. So we're into the Europa League. I suppose if you were watching this and you didn't have the comments on, you'd be thinking, Rangers have just been put out of Europe again. No, we haven't. We're through to the Europa League. I should know this as the host of a Rangers podcast, but I don't. What pot do we go into?
2.
Pot 2?
Yeah, pot 2.
Well, that's not bad, I suppose. Pot 2, so do you know what? I've not even looked at them, so I'm not even going to pretend that I know which teams are in it, because I don't even know which teams are in it. On to Sunday, Kerr. How's your confidence levels then going into Sunday? After that performance today, start to the league, the way that they've started, how are you feeling about it? And obviously all this COVID stuff.
I'm the same as always. I'll be an old firm game. End of the day, I was the only time I was ever not really confident was when Pedro was in charge. But to be honest with you, when Celtic were running away with the leagues for years, and we always played well against them, like I say, unless it was Pedro in charge, but we always played well against them. Even they've not beaten us for like 2.5 seasons now, or 2 seasons. They've not beaten us, so I'm confident again. I think the game takes care of itself. I mean, they'll come with confidence because of the way they've started the season, but we have confidence as well because we know they've not beat us for a while. So it's going to be one of the games where I think it'll be close, but I still think we'll edge it.
Have Celtic been, and obviously we're going to say yes, Jamie, but have Celtic been overpraised for the start to the season? I've only seen, I'll be honest, I want to start watching a bit more of them now that they appear to be playing a wee bit better, just to get a look at them. I've only seen like 20 minutes against Alkmaar, and in that time, They scored, but Alkmaar could have easily have scored 2 goals as well. So are they coming into this maybe with a wee bit overconfidence?
I think so. We've said this as well, Martin. People are going on as if this team are prime Barcelona, and I mean, I must be one of the only people that listen to Go Radio, right? Craig, one of my greatest ever players, Craig Moore. You'd think he was an ex-Celtic player the way he's going on. How good this Celtic team are playing. I've only watched them at the start. I've not watched them now since I've heard they're playing well. But I don't think there were any great shakes. But I gather they are playing pretty well. But it's pretty old Kevin Keegan Newcastle stuff. We'll score 4 if you score 3 kind of thing. So we've got a couple of good players that can pick that up. Davis, Kamara, stuff like that. So I'm not confident because I'm a realist, right? But because of how we've been playing,
a pessimist.
A pessimist,
a realist.
Oh, you're a pessimist.
Realist. So because how we've been playing, however, I expect us to win because I always expect Rangers to beat Celtic.
I've not checked the odds because I'm not a gambler, Kerr. Are Celtic favourites on Sunday?
To be honest with you, I've not checked, but I can double check. Are they favourites? Aye.
Yeah. Celtic are favourites.
Should they be?
Is there really much I know for them game with the bookies, unless, like I say, Pedro was in charge, that maybe we were 4 or 5 to win, but probably 5-4, 7-4 is going to be much of a difference between the two teams. Like I say, there maybe be more favourites now because of the COVID thing, so the bookies have maybe given them better odds because of that, a loader odds because of that. But I've nothing to fear against Celtic. They started really well, but watching Celtic this season, watching last season's like night and day. They couldn't get any worse than they did last season.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always going to improve, no matter who they brought in. They were always going to improve. So even get chalking 2, 3, 4 wins in a row, it was always going to be better for them than last season. And our season, as soon as we lost a game, we're always going to do worse because we never lost last season. So just one of the things you've got to take into perspective. I still don't think on 11 against 11 they're better than us. It's just whoever turns up in the day.
Well, do you know what? I'll flip that question then, Jamie. Are we as bad as what a lot of fans, including myself, think that we are? By that, I mean performances at the start of this season, or has it just been that we've probably been okay and we're just building our way into it? Are we overreacting?
As I said, I'm a realist, and I don't think we've played well at all. And a Rangers team not playing that well is good enough to beat Livy and Ross County, but it was proven a Rangers team not playing that well isn't good enough to beat Dundee United. So a Rangers team that plays all right should beat Dundee United, but a team that's not playing well won't. So I don't think we have played well. So I seen somebody comment though, like, okay, we might start slower and finish fast. The problem we have is we've done the opposite through the last couple of years under the Gerrard regime, where we've started fast and then after Christmas we've finished poorly, and that probably includes last season. Although we weren't beaten, our performances dipped after Christmas. So maybe we are going to flip it this time and gather a bit of momentum, which I hope so. And if we just stay there, and Sunday could be the catalyst for everything. Sunday could be the catalyst for these players. Something just needs. I said this a few weeks ago. Something just needs to happen for that one player to lift the full thing. It could be a deflected goal, an OGE, a McGregor header like the last time. Anything like that could lift our whole season here. I think a lot of stuff. This is pivotal on Sunday.
Well, the one thing I don't want to do, Kerr, is I don't care if it's 1, 2 or 10 players that are missing on Sunday due to this COVID thing. I don't want to do what they done last season and use that as any sort of excuse, regardless of the result. Saying that, how much of a factor do you think COVID could be? Which is an extremely difficult question because we don't as yet know who's going to be missing. So I've just kind of asked and answered my own question.
It was a factor for a lot of teams last season, as you were aware. We were just quite fortunate at times. It was always going to hit us at some point. It's hit us at this time. So, like you're saying, depending who we know, we're not going to really see what team will start on Sunday. If Robbie's got to start on Sunday, I'm not really that fearful if he starts, because I don't think he's 23, like Jamie says, so he's not that old. He's not that young, I mean, for a guy going to start a first team game against Celtic, and he's played in the Livingston against Celtic and stuff like that. So, and you can come into a game like that with no fear, because he's still quite young, and say to yourself, I've got to show this. It's like young players, they want a chance to prove themselves. And if some of them got to start on Sunday, that's a chance to prove it. If they want to good enough, Martin, they want to beat Rangers in the first place. So if they've got a chance to prove themselves, then that might be the time to prove yourself, because may never get a chance again. So come in at a game like that. We all remember David Bates. We all thought he was the next David Weir at one point, and what happened to him. But he always played well against Celtic. So You don't know. We could come in on Sunday, no any fear, and just put in a performance and just enjoy it.
Is 23 still considered young?
For a keeper, probably, aye.
Is it for a keeper? Aye. Right, I'll tell you what, we'll wrap it up there because we did do a Celtic preview. One final question from Sophie. Would you play the same team from tonight on Sunday, Jamie, if obviously the players that have been left behind aren't available? I mean, I've heard rumours that Ryan Kent and Scott Wright is just slight niggles. Obviously, if Kent's fit, he plays because Kent versus Celtic, this is brilliant. But if they're not, would you be comfortable with that team on Sunday?
I think you've probably got to, given the experience that's there. I know we've banged on about it. The only change you perhaps would make would be Kelly coming in for Arfield, because I think Arfield's not started the season well either and looks a wee bit leggy and not the same player. But if Roof's back, because we know he's probably not out with COVID, then
suspended, aye.
So I think Roof's got to come back in. Roof would come back in as well for me. So I think after tonight, it's probably shown that Roof is probably got to come back in, and then you see who drops into the midfield. I think Arfield comes out perhaps and Roof goes in, and then Aribo or Hadji move back into midfield would maybe probably be the one change.
Same you, Keir. People could probably tell that was my dog, as regular watchers will know. Same question to you, Keir, then. Is that side be fielded tonight? Would you be comfortable with that going into the Old Firm game?
Don't know if it's got enough legs in middle of the park. Celtic are quite quick middle to front. Now against, I know it's only playing something last week, but they were playing like a 4-1-5 at one point. So with Arfield, Kamara and Davis, I don't know if they've got legs in there to cope with their runners, but if that's one of the players they've got left, they'll have to go with it. But I'll probably pull Arfield and put in somebody else.
Fair enough. Very, very quickly. Does Juninho make the bench, Jamie?
I think if it was maybe perhaps, depending how he's trained, and we've not got any players. If we've got the same bench as we have tonight, then he's going to come back in. But the SPL's reduced the numbers of subs now, so it's not like you're probably going to have your Ittens and your stuff like that on the bench again. So I don't know. I don't think so. But it might be the wild card we've seen played in many an Old Firm.
Probably just made a comment about Lundstrom because he was suspended tonight as well. So he comes back into it.
But this is the thing: we don't know who's COVID and who's not COVID. Aye. This is when we're not going to know, which is correct. Very final comment. Some from our ranks need to go out there and put in a performance that lifts the whole atmosphere, teams, fans, and everything. Slim Jim, who was my great uncle, go out and show them what you've got, which is absolutely true. And on that, we shall finish. Just before we go, we are, of course, on Patreon. Link is in the description if you want to help support the podcast and RYDC. It's patreon.com/Rangers Rabble, but the link is in the description. If you're watching and you enjoy, please do subscribe and like. Jamie, mate, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I didn't think you were going to get back to me there. I thought you was going to leave me hanging.
You don't usually let us say anything to you. Thanks, Martin. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you on Sunday for a more positive outcome and a more optimistic Jamie.
Thank you, Keir.
Thank you, Martin.
Cheeky bastard, Jamie. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will be back, of course, on Sunday with live match reaction. If anything drops in between, we'll have breaking news, of course. We might throw in another wee podcast, depending on how everybody's feeling. But if we don't, we'll speak to you on Sunday. Have a nice week. Hopefully, you enjoy the game. We'll speak to you very soon.